A world record Minecraft speedrun requires a lot of things to go right. Once the player is far enough into the run, there's a point where any decisions previously made could have little to no effect on the final time. This point is where most amazing seeds die, also known as the blind travel. No matter how amazing of an overworld and nether a player gets, there is almost nothing that can be done about a bad stronghold distance blind travel. With divine and educated travel, players can guarantee a decent stronghold distance, but that opportunity isn't available very often. Anyways, that leads me to this video, because runners have been keeping track of the fastest blind travel times and using that as a baseline for what a potential world record could look like. Instead of looking at world records though, I'll be taking you through the progression of the fastest blind travel times in Minecraft speedrunning. This is timed from the instant that the player starts moving to when they leave the nether in a new portal with rods and pearls. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. To start, let's take a trip back in time. September 19th, 2020 to be exact. D-Max, the world record holder at the time, had just broken his own world record again by well over 2 minutes. How was he able to save so much time though? Well, he utilized a completable ruin portal within the first stronghold ring. Quick speedrunning tip, strongholds spawn in rings and the closest one can be anywhere from 1280 to 2816 blocks away from the 0x0z coordinates. In his run, D-Max entered the nether with resources from a village at around 550. He spawned right next to a fortress, and after getting 6 blaze rods, he managed to locate the ruin portal I mentioned earlier. It had 2 gold blocks which he mined and traded to the piglins for pearls, and was completable with the obsidian found in its chest. D-Max was able to blind travel out of the nether at around 12 minutes and 45 seconds. For today's standards, this isn't exactly impressive, but this took place a while ago, and due to the stronghold being close to where he blinded, this run was the world record for about 10 days. The next blind travel that we would see came from Couriway's 1436 world record on November 3rd, 2020. In that run, he entered the nether at 450 and immediately spotted a bridge bastion. Since this time period was before bastions were optimized, he opted to mine all of the gold and trade it with the few surrounding piglins. After getting enough obsidian, pearls, and fire resistance, he pearled out of the bastion and immediately spotted a nether fortress. Couriway got pretty good blaze drop rates and was able to blind travel out of the nether at 10 minutes and 51 seconds. If you were paying attention, you may have noticed that the first 2 record blind travels came from world records. That's because people weren't really keeping track of this statistic very much back then. I'm bringing this up because for the next 3 runs, it's unknown whether they were actually the records or not. They're simply the fastest ones that I could find, and it's pretty likely that someone else might have gotten a faster one. The first one is from a failed potential 15xx run by Dylan. This took place on November 19th, 2020, and to briefly explain the run, he entered the nether with tools from a village at 4 minutes and 27 seconds. Upon entering the nether, he thought that what he was looking at was a basalt delta, but actually it was the top of a bastion. At the time, he hadn't learned how to properly route it, so he had to search around for a bit to find the chest part. There turned out to be 2 triple chests, so with the golden obby from those, he was able to get enough pearls and fire resistance to be on the hunt for a fortress. Soon after, he found one, and he was at the spawner before 7.5 minutes had passed. Once he obtained 7 rods, he headed to a blind travel spot and was out of the nether right after the 10-minute mark. Being that this blind travel barely missed out on being sub 10, the next one is the first ever sub 10 minute blind that I know of. This happened on January 29th and took place in the same session when Rainix got its 1407 world record. Rain was able to enter the nether at 4:43 with a ruin portal lava pool after stopping by a village to get food and tools. Immediately upon entry into the nether, he was able to see a housing bastion and a nether fortress. After getting the required items from the bastion, he booked it to the fortress and started killing blazes. By the time he was done, he pearled away from the fortress and placed down a nether portal to blind travel at around 9 minutes and 30 seconds in-game time. As you can see, these times are slowly improving, but the next improvement is drastic. There's no recording of it, but sometime in the month of February, Feinberg was able to exit the nether at 8 minutes and 7 seconds. The next record, however, does have footage, and it was done live on Twitch by Davey on March 16th, 2021. Unlike the previous runs, this one utilizes shipwreck as a source of iron and a magma ravine as a means of building a nether portal to enter the nether. At 3 minutes and 10 seconds, right after entering, the first thing that he saw was a treasure bastion. We can't see it in the video due to his keyboard overlay, but he also saw a nether fortress. After routing the bastion and trading with its piglins, he had enough pearls, obby, and fire resistance to head out to the fortress, so that's exactly what he did. The spawner was very easily accessible, and after killing blazes for only 1 minute, he had 6 rods. He had his portal built and was out of the nether at 7 minutes and 55 seconds, which made this the first ever sub 8 minute blind. The next blind travel record would come a bit over a week later, and yet again it was from Davey. This time he gathered resources from a village, and at just under 3 minutes he entered the nether to an instant fortress and bastion. The bastion was a housing type, which is the best one, so he was able to route it and gather all the necessary items before 6 minutes had passed. Once out of the bastion, he made his way to the fortress, and after getting exceptional blaze rod drop rates, he was out of the nether at 7 minutes and 25 seconds. This record stood for a week when NinjaBrain decided that it was his turn to hold the title. Using a shipwreck as a source of iron and a lava pool to build a portal, he entered the nether at 2 minutes and 57 seconds, only to see an instant housing bastion and nether fortress. He used a top-down route in which he aggroed piglins by hitting one and led them down to the area with the gold. Unsurprisingly, he got pretty lucky with his trades and pearled out of the bastion before 5.5 minutes had gone by. The part of the fortress that he pearled toward had a blaze spawner, and once he had 6 rods, he was out of the nether at 7 minutes and 16 seconds. This time stood for a bit longer than the previous ones, but it was only a matter of time until Sizzler would appear in a video regarding some kind of 1.16 record. On April 18th, he loaded into a world, and after punching a tree, he found a ruined portal with 24 iron nuggets and a flint and steel. After finding a shipwreck for the remaining iron, he located a lava pool which he used to enter the nether. At 2:11, he spawned in a nether right next to a double triple chest stables bastion and another fortress in the distance. With this many chests, he opted to not check for a good gap and instead to do a riskier but faster route with only 4 guaranteed gold blocks. Well, this risk paid off, and he was out of the bastion at 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Due to the fortress being so close, he was in it at low 4 minutes, and a bit later, he located both of the blaze spawners in very close proximity to each other. This meant that he was able to utilize both of them at the same time, and you will see runners refer to this as a double spawner. After death resetting with a respawn anchor to restore hunger and health, he got 7 rods and was out of the nether at 6 minutes and 49 seconds. With blind travel times getting so optimized, progression inevitably slowed down for a little bit. The next record came only 6 days after Sizzler's, but it was a micro improvement. In that run, Raynex got his iron from a shipwreck and entered the nether using a magma ravine at 2:39. He spawned in the bottom of a stables bastion, and after going to a good gap, he started his trades. Here's your second speedrun tip of the day. Stables bastions can spawn with good gaps and bad gaps. Good gaps have lots of gold blocks, and bad gaps have a single chest. Anyways, after about a 2-minute bastion split, he was in search of a fortress before 5 minutes had passed. A few quick pearls later, and he was at it. Once at the fortress, he got a lot of spawns due to him using 5 render distance in a warped forest biome, and his drop rates were solid. He blind traveled right next to the fortress at 6 minutes and 45 seconds. Over the next month, there were absolutely no time improvements. At this point, FV666 had gotten a 647 blind and Sempers had gotten a 646, and it seemed like random seeds were reaching a stage where blind travel times would be incrementally improved upon from here on out. That was further reinforced on May 24th when NinjaBrain beat Raynex's time by a few seconds. By utilizing a shipwreck for iron and a magma ravine for lava, he entered the nether at 2 minutes and 34 seconds. Right upon entry, he saw nothing, but by utilizing his E-ray, he managed to locate the direction of a bastion. A very short time later, he was in a treasure bastion. The route he used is known as the NinjaBrain route because he invented it a while ago. It involves breaking a gold block inside a wall of the double chest room and leading the piglins to a very intentionally placed hole. When mining the gold from the top room, he can simply dig down and throw that gold straight in the hole. Anyways, something that I haven't mentioned yet is that the nether fortress was visible from the bastion, and even intersected it at the lower area, so when he was done with his trades, he instantly started the hunt for blazes. After a skeleton nearly gave him and probably everyone watching his stream a heart attack, he farmed blazes at a spawner and was out of the nether at 6 minutes and 40 seconds. A week later, Sempers decided to put a stop to the micro improvements and absolutely shattered NinjaBrain's time. His overworld was nothing special, with him getting iron from a shipwreck and entering the nether using an underground lava pool at 2 minutes and 34 seconds. His nether spawn was basically the exact same as Raynex's, but there was one slight difference. He could see the fortress from the bastion. Also, I just want to point out that this bastion was absolutely awful. Remember when Sizzler had a really fast stables bastion using the top chests? Well, this bastion had no triple chest, one chest with obsidian, and one good gap, which he ended up using. After getting extremely lucky trades, he was out of the bastion and in the fortress at 4 minutes and 30 seconds. The fortress was in a Soul Sand Valley biome, and it was truly a family reunion. I mean, look at how many blazes spawned for him. Unfortunately, these blazes were not dropping a lot of rods, but the sheer amount of them kinda made up for it. After killing blazes until he had 6 rods, he put down his nether portal and blinded at 6 minutes and 13 seconds. Now, usually I wouldn't talk about the rest of the run, but at the spot he blinded, if you go into spectator mode and fly down a bit, you can see the portal room. I won't spoil the rest of the run, but if you want to see it, link in the description. Anyways, this is where we are today. In a random seed, no one has blinded faster than 6 minutes and 13 seconds. I don't think that time is representative of the limit though. In fact, I believe that blind times can drop significantly lower. It's just a matter of pulling the right seed. Currently, the fastest filtered seed glitchless sorta blind travel time is from Feinberg, with a time of 3 minutes and 9 seconds. In this run, he spawned in a nether right next to the top of a stables bastion. While the chests didn't have enough iron for him to craft a pickaxe, they did have plenty of obsidian and the equivalent of 18 gold ingots. He traded those ingots with the piglins and they gave him 8 pearls and a fire resistance potion. He decided to enter the fortress with that, and utilizing his looting sword, he was able to get his rods very quickly. Unfortunately, the portal room was not ocean exposed, but in a twisted turn of events, the portal had 4 eyes already in it. Now, I'm not saying that blinds in random seeds can get as low as 3 minutes, but the disparity between FSG and RSG blind travel records is proof that there's plenty of room for improvement. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video and have a great day.